Guys of Reddit. What is socially seen as sexy but is actually a huge turn off for you? Playing hard to get. Just be real with me and yourself. Not that I find a challenge a problem, but pointless games that waste time, ruins people's trust in others and ability to love is not funny. So you like me? Tell me. You don't? Great, still tell me. On Snapchat or when girls take videos of themselves while slowly moving the camera around and they just stare at the camera while playing with their hair and making faces. I don't think it's sexy at all, I think they look ridiculous. Edit, it's not just girls. Dudes do it too, which might be worse, but from what I've seen, majority of them are girls. My first girlfriend was like this. Always used baby voice and called crabs quabby and shrimps shwimpies. Certified psycho in every way. Stormed into my classroom because she's jealous of a pretty classmate, made scenes in malls, went to my new girlfriend's condo to tell new GF she doesn't look good with me because she is dark skin, and would put a knife to my neck every time I tried to break up with her. For the record, I never courted her. She was a stalker who proclaimed herself my girlfriend, so at one point, my young stupid mind went okay, why not, she's pretty enough. Now I travel back in time just to smack my 17-year-old self. There I was thinking don't exist in real life. Till the opposite. Believe me, one time, I was so frustrated because she won't leave me alone, even after we've broken up, I freaking called my mom crying and made my mom speak to her, haha. It worked because she suddenly left and started bothering me less. I found out my mom told her to leave me alone or she won't hesitate to have someone killed. Knowing my mom's from a military family, with questionable morals, she took the threat seriously. Edit, you are right. My mom is a boss mom. Shoots like a pro, paints like a pro, cooks like a pro. Downsides are she's socially awkward and moody as hell. Using filters for your pictures. Some women seem to rely heavily on these filters to feel beautiful, but chances are I'm going to think you look better as you are. I like flaws. I like freckles. I like scars. Just be you. One woman I know takes daily selfies with her 4-year-old daughter and she always uses those filters. Her daughter is growing up with this huge disconnect between what she looks like in photos compared to how she actually looks, and I think it's atrocious. PSA, parents, always have recent, unfiltered pictures of your kids. A 14-year-old girl went missing in my city a few months ago. She exclusively took heavily filtered pictures, so her official photo on the missing flyers didn't even look like her. I don't see how anyone could recognize her from that. A 12-year-old girl died in my town in a horrific accident a few months ago. And the only photos her family ended up having to remember her by from after the age of 9 were heavily filtered, covered in dog ears and anime eyes. My heart broke for them. Point number 2 isn't that simple though. I work with a lot of smart women, and they've told me that most of the men who say they appreciate smart women are all gangsta until they realize she's smarter or better educated on a topic than they are. What those guys really seem to want is a woman whose intelligence won't outshine their own. FTR, I married a smart woman whose area of expertise I would be ridiculous to question, so it's not really an issue in my day-to-day life. Though I do maintain I usually have more practical sense. Smiles. Edit, holy crap, RIP my inbox. I can't keep up with all the replies, but to clarify one thing, these women are not representing themselves as smart, this is my assessment of them based on their work that I'm familiar with versus the field they're in. I don't pretend to be an infallible judge, after all. I'm not an expert in all their fields/subfields, but in general the work they are doing requires both a lot of knowledge and talent. Also, for those who don't like anecdotes, see OMV Dizzy's reply for a study that illustrates this phenomenon. This study on relative intelligence and how it affects men's attraction to women supports exactly your point. When the woman was psychologically distant, i.e. does not exist, men tended to prefer the hypothetical woman that was more intelligent than them over the hypothetical woman less intelligent than them. However, when put in situations with real-life women, the men in the study reacted very negatively to the women who they perceived to be smarter than them, and had a significant preference toward their less intelligent counterparts. I actually worked with a such dude. Professed himself to be a liberal man who supported feminism. He constantly talked about his wife and how proud he was of her for being a scientist and being really smart. He prided himself on being a worldly, sensitive, and a pragmatic European. He never talked about sex, made crude jokes and remarks. Never imposed himself on other female co-workers. In fact, he looked down on guys who came off bro-ish and stereotypically masculine. To him they were the wrong kind of man. Here's the thing. He was very sexist in subtle ways. He bragged about his wife being smart but confided in a co-worker that he felt bad that she made more money than him. He saw women that weren't on his wife's level as less than him and would feel threatened if he saw such woman rise above him unless he deemed her potential as worthy. Then he'd act encouraging in that token feminist way and may take some credit for her success later. He would rely on male workers to help him make decisions and put projects together over women like 95% of the time. He was more likely to allocate projects to men than women. The type of dudes he made fun of? He subtly compared his image to them all the time. If they criticized him, he would dismiss, trash talk, or complain about them, usually to women, for validation, but quietly try to change his behavior too. Match theirs. When a woman questioned his work or asked questions about something, he was more likely jump to the conclusion that she was questioning his authority/competency rather than asking for clarification. Sometimes he would retaliate passive-aggressively to regain control if his feelings got hurt enough in this mishap. Other times he would break things down too much or get someone else involved. Getting non-questioning compliance was preferred. When a man asked him about his work, he would still sometimes complain but was more likely to explain it and get their perspective on it. He would oftentimes chastise female co-workers for chatting and chilling because they were wasting productive time but look the other way for his male friends because they had harder jobs and needed a jovial break. I will note here that even though he wasn't like this at all times, it happened enough for there to be a very noticeable pattern. One time he told a fellow coworker that he was glad he was the only guy in the office because he thought it would make his job easy. Several months later he complained that he wished more guys worked there because women were too dramatic and he would like to have someone he could rely on for help. This type of sexism didn't appear all in one go. It seeped through subtly over 2 years. Despite all this shit, to this day he still sees himself as a liberal feminist because he's not like those other obnoxious sexist dudes. However, working with him was a lot more insufferable than working with guys who crack jokes about pussies and dicks. Edit, typos. Fixed awkward wording, typos and format. Fake tans. Specifically really bad ones where you look orange. I mean, I've seen some girls acting like they are hot shit looking just like an Oompa Loompa. I'm from Ireland and my mother's generation in particular have this weird obsession with tans. My mother is always telling me my foundation is too light or trying to get me to wear nude tights much darker than my actual legs. She herself looks absolutely awful in her wedding photos because her skin is actually orange with fake tan. I also got my photos taken in work before and the photographer photoshopped my skin darker. I felt really uncomfortable with that. I think a tan looks gorgeous on someone that has that coloring naturally, but I'm ginger with blue eyes. I just look stupid with anything but milk bottle levels of whiteness. Half Irish, half English here. I don't know about you, but I get stared at a lot when traveling abroad with my milk bottle legs because not getting a tan apparently invalidates my right to be on holiday in a place with more sunshine. I never bothered with fake tans because they just wouldn't suit me. The comments and stares I would get were so bad on my last holiday. I was actually going to get a fake tan before going away this year, before COVID changed everything, just to stop feeling so judged. Social media involvement. There's so much pressure for every girl to just be the sort of Insta-model, whether it be with life experiences in their story, posts on the feed, etc., that while it may be attractive in the conventional sense that they're trying to optimize their beauty, via filters, angles, etc., or make it seem like their life is exciting, it's just genuinely kind of a red flag and a huge turn-off to me that so much of their self-worth is the external perception people have of them. And you can tell the difference. Posting just a general selfie to highlight something you like about yourself is great, but you can usually tell when there's a lot more manipulation/thought that goes into the picture/video, which is the extreme to which I'm talking about. Edit, because this is getting so much exposure. I'm not actually talking about real influencers here. Influencers are a semi-legitimate business model where they have various sources of income, people paying them for content, advertising to their audience, etc., and they treat that social media platform as their business. The type of girl I'm referencing is more one who posts/acts on social media like an influencer, when they're not. Someone whose very identity and priority in life is their social media presence. When it's the same stylistic choices and prioritization in their life, without the legitimate business concept to back it up. Where it's being done because they want to feel popular, or have attention, or because they think it covers their insecurities in this online reality compared to who they really are. Because there are traits and red flags in those certain personalities that, despite however sexy they are in the online platform or in real life, make it so that it's a major turn-off. When girls play dumb as if being intelligent means you're less attractive when actually it's the opposite. I love being able to have and hold intellectual conversations with people, and the playing dumb thing just annoys me. Edit, thank you for my very first award, guys. Genuinely appreciated. Edit 2. I didn't realize that a lot of you have played dumb as a defense mechanism and to avoid hurting a man's ego. Honestly, that's real sad. Screw his ego if he can't deal with being less intelligent than to me. You've dodged a bullet. More power to you women. I think you're all incredible. As a woman, I find this happens when you are smart or say smart things and get shut down or ignored, and you realize that pretending to be dumb to stroke a guy's ego gets more male attention. Not saying it's right, I made an effort to stop doing it, but that's where it came from when I was younger. There are lots of men who enjoy feeling superior to a dumb woman. Misguided women might act the part of they're lonely. Had that happened to me. Used to be a barista, had a girl come in and start being over-talkative with me. Giving me the eyes, asks what I do for fun, etc. I'm just trying to make sure I make her drink right. Didn't occur to me until after they left. We, guys, have all been there. One time when I was a freshman in college, this girl rode by me and my friend on a longboard. In desperate admiration my friend goes, "Ugh, she looks like Emma Stone." She did. I shouted, "Hey, you look like Emma Stone." She rode back and gave me her number, and I never texted her. Because at the time I was a teenage idiot who had no experience with women. Raises hand. Lesbian here, and I've been there too. Once had someone asked to stay back in my room with me at college before we went away for spring break to tell me that she really enjoyed spending time with me, and that she really liked me. My response: I really like you too. You're such a great friend. Smile. Right? My boyfriend said that he prefers me without makeup, but when I clean up, do a bitchin' smoky cat eye and lipstick and put on something cute, especially with heels, he's all over me in 2.5 seconds. My ex would tease me every time I gave her a compliment before she'd had the chance to fix her kinky bedhead hair that liked sticking to my face or to hide her tired-looking eyes with makeup. You're just saying that because you like me. It was a fun little prompt for me to start telling her what I found so gorgeous in detail. She seemed very pleasantly surprised that I would turn it up after she did her grooming routine and talk to her like I was admiring an artist and their art. Pick out the things it looked like she tried to cultivate on purpose, describe how it complemented her skin or her eyes or her hair or her clothes or her nails. Every so often teasing how cruel she must be to want other women to feel so jealous of her, if she wanted to be hyped up a little bit. It put a glowing little smile on her and a little catch in her breath every time, among other things. It's nice a lot of guys want their lady to feel accepted and that their love isn't conditional on impressing them. But it's equally important to acknowledge when someone is putting effort into themselves, no matter for who or why, and that, despite being a tired routine to many, applying makeup is still a creative/expressive work. My greater point to anybody scrolling by is that, yes, accept your lady when she feels unacceptable. But when she walks out trying to look her best, treat her like she's been touched by a muse instead of reassuring her that she doesn't have to try to look good. It devalues the effort and it's kinda self-centered if you let it be. Value it and make it about her. I remember the first time I saw it working in person. It was about 1999 2000s, and my white, hip-hop head friend took me to an urban, black, club. It was mesmerizing and not in a good way. It just reminded me of watching mating rituals in nature documentaries. And here we see that chaffinch female, presenting her posterior for a cadre of suitors. I understand people who don't find it to their preference, but I also think that it seems like an understandable thing to find sexy, and that even if men didn't find it sexy, if I, a woman, could do it I still would. Good control of those muscles, core, back, thighs, is a very healthy thing for a woman, and man, but especially woman. It also, like grinding, probably feels sexy to do because it uses similar muscles as sex. It isn't unheard of for men to enjoy things that make women themselves feel sexy even if they're not marketed specifically towards men. Why is twerking still so popular? It's terrible. I'm a stripper and every single guy I've danced for loved it. Makes my butt and hips more pronounced and it shows I'm good at sex in that position. It's also just fun and butt guys like it, lol, not something to take seriously. However, if you're terrible at it or take it too far, then sure. I also can't deal with songs that are only about it.